about that quite a bit, actually, because I write with Valley Hush and do that, but I also work on other people's music. And what music means to me, I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to just raw emotion. Like the recording, the mix, everything else aside. Like if you can't convey your passion and emotion through the music, then it's kind of all for nothing for me.
It's a way to express myself, and I think that it's also like a really powerful tool for communication. And I think lately what I've been really fascinated by is like trying to like really transform emotions into a song. And that's like what our last album was like really heavy on, is just turning like experiences into like a 3-minute sonic experience. So
for me, I have to be all in it mentally. Like I can't imagine spending more than half my day doing something else and then coming home and trying to work on music. Even if my day right now is like spending half of it doing something, like I might just like go read a book at the cafe or something, but it just allows my mind to not be so tied up in something like a normal job, I guess. But having said that, it's extremely difficult, at least in Detroit, to have a full-time thing in music. So I'm still figuring that out, definitely, how to do that week to week and month to month.
At the end of the day, like I love doing it, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. And I can't really imagine like having any other job. I mean, it's not a full-time job yet. I still have to work to pay bills and everything, but that's like, I don't think about time when I'm in the studio or like at rehearsal or writing. Like time just kind of disappears and you kind of just get lost in it. So if I can make that like what I do for a living, then that's the best.
I was born and raised in Southeast Michigan in St. Clair Shores. And
why Detroit? I think the people here are really inspiring. We have like the community at Assemble Sound, and that alone like is a big reason for us to be here.
The thing that is really cool for artists is that the rent isn't very high, so you don't have to work a full-time job to get by and do your craft. I've actually lived, I think, in 3 recording studios at this point for a certain amount of time, and I've been to a lot of other cities, and I love a lot of other cities as well, and there's incredible opportunities. But I do find that the most creative things, the most like truly raw creative things, do come out of Detroit, because you just don't have to be so concerned with monetizing every bit of it, like you do if your rent is $2,000 a month in other cities. I think that's just the fact of it.
But like Alex was saying, like it's super inexpensive to live here, and I love the grittiness of the city, and seeing it like firsthand like come back alive is kind of crazy. I think it's cool to experience being here for that too.
A time that I've been really frustrated and kind of feel like giving up, that's a super real thing. And I'm sure that a lot of artists maybe won't admit that, but I have found a lot of peace within myself to be very aware of that. That self-doubt is a super real thing, and it really affects you if you let it. So for me, that's just part of the game.
It comes in waves for me. And I think it's like every time like my car breaks down and I'm like, fuck, like I have to figure out this, and then you're just kind of feeling like you're in a hole. And so it's like those kind of situations. And then also because Detroit is small and like the music scene is small, so you kind of know everybody, but once you venture out and you play in other cities and, like you realize how tiny you are, like in this industry, I think that's kind of, it's overwhelming. It's not really frustrating, but it's an overwhelming feeling.
like I do view the music industry as a game, literally, not music, but the business of it. I feel like is a board game, and you just have to kind of play it right.
You feel like you've already like done so much and worked so hard to get where you are, and then you're not really that far yet. Like when you compare yourself to like another city's artist or something. I think when that happens, you have to go back inside and start thinking about your intentions and why you started doing this in the first place. And that's always what helps me like set my mind straight again.
And so I try not to let those play counts, monetary kind of things affect how I feel about music as an art form. And that's not always easy, you know, and there's like a lot of times where, you know, I maybe just can't get something right with a mix, or I am just like not getting to where I want to be with the sound or something, and I'll think like, you know, why am I even doing this? You know, kind of that inner monologue. But I think if you can mold yourself into the type of person that can realize that, okay, like, yeah, I'm feeling that, like, I understand it, and then just realize that you have to get over that to progress with your art. And everybody that you know and love and you respect has gone through that 100%, probably more than you would ever realize. And I think that's just very important to be aware of.
When people like tell you that your music helps them in a way, like that's like the best compliment you can ever get as an artist. And like that keeps me going because I really like strive. I just want to like, I want like our music to be like the album somebody puts on when they're like going through shit or when they're happy, you know, like all emotions, but just like a deeper, like I want people to connect on a deeper level, and that's what I keep inspiring to do. So it's a way to get it all out, and that's what I get inspiration from too, just emotion and other people's emotions and situations in life.
One, I really do enjoy what I do a lot. And thinking about having like a life in this, like a career, is still really exciting. Even though I'm doing it now, but I mean, obviously I have a lot of things I want to accomplish in music. So that's really exciting. And two is like I've honestly, and this is like a little more brass tacks, like I've honestly just invested too much time in my life so far into this. So there's like, I made the decision a couple of years ago that I was like, all right, there's no turning back. Like I'm not turning back until I see this all the way through. And if it takes me until I'm 40 to be like, all right, I saw it through, then that's fine. But I have to do it. I don't know, it's just some kind of weird compulsion. I don't know.